conscience, no understanding, and even the most rudimentary sense of life or death, of good or evil, right or wrong. I met this 6-year-old child with this blank, pale, emotionless face, and the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes. I spent 8 years trying to reach him, and then another 7 trying to keep him locked up, because I realized that what was living behind that boy's eyes was purely and simply evil.
(2017) Trick or Treat Studios released a replica Captain Kirk mask that was originally used to create the iconic face of Michael Myers by production designer Tommy Lee Wallace. The original Captain Kirk mask was made by Dawn Post Studios, using a life cast of William Shatner to create prosthetics for the 1975 film The Devil's Reign. Gene Roddenberry, the creator of Star Trek, tapped Post to create a line of masks for Trek merch, which included, of course, one James Tiberius Kirk. Wallace modified 3 masks for Halloween. The eyes were opened up wider, the sideburns were removed, the blonde hair, and of course the skin were spray painted. The entire process took approximately 30 to 45 minutes. It's amazing how something so simple became a horror and pop culture icon. Let's take a good look at this reproduction, sculpted by Justin Mabry, before we make our alterations. So here we're looking at the hairline, which starts from ear and ends at the other ear. We've got several layers of hair glued down. What's very interesting here is one of the most important details, which would be the sideburns themselves, considering they were removed from the original mask. The sideburns on the original mask were separate pieces from the main hairline. Here we have the eyebrows layered in 3s. And in just a moment, you're going to see me removing that. What I do here is soak a small paintbrush with spirit gum remover. And I go against the grain and really soak it in there. Once the glue starts to become gummy, I slowly peel it back and work the brush in for a nice smooth removal. And you can see the sculpt underneath. You'll notice once I'm done, I actually don't paint these eyebrows on. Going from Tommy Lee Wallace's tutorial, he really didn't even mention anything about painting the eyebrows, so I left them as is. Here we have the same idea as the eyebrows. I'm soaking that paintbrush in spirit gum remover and really getting it in there. Now, with these sideburns, as I was saying before, it's all one piece. So I got a little bit inventive with the removal of these to make sure that it was the same on both sides. And you'll see that in just a few moments. Another good look at the gummy glue after it gets soaked in that spirit gum remover. and I'm slowly peeling back. And I'm actually getting a little bit nervous watching this because you don't want to tear that. So, yeah, don't do what I'm doing. Go about it a little bit slower with a little bit more patience. You don't want to tear this off, and you're going to see why in just a few moments. And there's a little jump cut there. You can see that this is all one piece right up to the temple. And I stopped it right at the curvature where it would start that front hairline. And in a few moments, I'm going to go to the other side and stop at the very same point. So that way the hairline's going to be even on both sides. So as you can see here, I'm creating a new hairline going behind the ears, as opposed to just trimming those sideburns off. As I said before, the original mask had separate sideburns, so it was easily removable and each side looked even. But for this, peeling it back and creating that new hairline going behind the ears really works in our favor. It helps not only in a profile shot, making that hair a lot fuller, but it also gives you more to play with in your silhouette. So even without the eyes cut out, you can already see it start taking shape. No pun intended, of course. So now we're going to see the rubber cement. I wouldn't get too generous, but certainly enough to hold it down and do a little bit of shifting once you place it down onto the mask, just to make sure everything lines up properly. So here I'm drawing in what Wallace described as a football or almond shape. Try not to go too big with these. I would say right underneath the bags of the eyes. Let's say William Shatner had a late night full of Romulan ale and green ladies. He would have some bags under his eyes. So I would use that as your guide as far as how low to go. Above the eyelids, a lot closer to the natural line. I didn't capture the actual cutting process, but here you can see left and right, and I believe we're going to take a look at the piece that I cut out. So as you can see there, I started going out from one corner and then went all the way around to meet that cut line. So that way, it's all one consistent cut. It's okay if it looks a little bit rough. That adds to the authentic look from the original mask. So now we're going to start talking about paint here. You're going to see in just a moment, I haven't actually painted the mask yet. You're going to see flesh tone. So one of the most important details of the mask is that it was painted all white. There was no contouring done. There's no accents of black on the mask itself other than scuff marks. So lighting was very key, bringing out the facial features in the sculpt. So we can compare from the very beginning in lighting. As it gets more dramatic, you can see the features pop out. Obviously, the more low-key the lighting, the more shadows you're going to create. And that's really going to add to the creep factor. when painting the mask, I went over the hairline with some painter's tape and then put on a little shower cap. In regards to the paint that was used on the original mask, Wallace used a Krylon Appliance White. And there's also a matte finish, a very light matte finish to dull the shine. Because again, if you're going for those features, to bring those features out with dramatic lighting, it's very possible that you can get a lot of shine out of that mask with any direct light. So here, the sideburn, you notice how it curves right into basically the center of the ear, as opposed to the trick-or-treat mask, which rounded around the ear. Another detail here would be flesh tones around the neckline, on the tip of the nose. It really all depends on which version of the mask that you're seeing in the film and what look you're going for. Considering there's 3 different masks, at times you can see different flesh tones popping out in different areas. So on my mask, I went more for around the neckline, which I'm assuming got rubbed off from, taking it on and off, the neckline of the jumpsuit or the t-shirt underneath. And that's basically it. Once you get that nightcap off and you take a good look at it, you've just recreated the shape. I'll include all my sources below if you want to do your own research and go for your own authentic look and picking up on more details on the original mask. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comments. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it.